Okay, I have been asked to see if I can help locate a young man that went missing back in November of 2016. I believe this was from Australia. Don't quote me on that. His name was Zach Barnes. I believe he was 18 when he was last seen. So obviously it's been a few years. I believe the family has still been looking for answers. When I went to research this case, there's really not a lot of information out there online. I'm not going to go into a lot of the details of the disappearance. I would encourage you to just go on Google and see what you can find. The day that he was last seen by a few people, there was supposedly 3 people, 2 males and a female, that saw him on a Sunday. And that was the last time it was reported that he was seen. It was also reported that he jumped out of a car at a certain location, but there's not a lot of information. So I'm just gonna focus on, if I pick up anything on Zach's energy, if I can feel where he might be, any of the circumstances around what happened, I'm just gonna try to focus on that. So I do feel, unfortunately, that Zach is no longer with us. I do feel I feel he was murdered. The location, I'm not real familiar about the location at all. I'm from the US, so I don't know. I didn't pull up a map or anything like that about where he was last seen or what, but I feel, what I keep getting an image of is some sort of like a red barn. The barn is kind of off in the distance, so I'm gonna say it's maybe a block away. So I feel Zach is about a block away from this red barn. I feel like I'm in a field and there's overgrown grass, and I don't know if they remind me of like wheat plants or something, but it's overgrown grassy type area. Big open field. The only thing I can see is this kind of not kept up well red barn, and it's maybe a block away. And I can see the barn. I'm not right next to the barn. I'm about maybe 3/4 of a block or a block away from the barn. But I feel like there is literally nothing, not much around. It's like this wide open area except for this barn. That's really all I'm seeing, and this overgrown grass. So I don't know if there's anything like that in the area close to maybe where Zach was last seen. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there were 2 young men that Zach got in a car with. I think it was a silver car, and he went somewhere. That's what the story is that was told to investigators. I don't feel that that story is correct. I do feel he left with those 2, but I think it was more than that. I'm not feeling that initially Zach jumped out of a car and ran. I think I read that some people were saying that he got out of a car and ran. I'm not feeling that. I don't feel that that's how it went down. What I am picking up is Zach did get in a car and go somewhere. I feel like it was to another house. I can see him at a house. I can see him inside a house. I have a group of people in there. I feel that there was about 5 or 6 other people besides Zach. I feel kind of the leader of this group, or maybe, I'm not sure how to say that, but like the leader was, I'm feeling an older man, maybe in his 30s. I'm hearing 37. So maybe he could have been in his mid-30s. The rest of the people that I'm picking up were all around Zach's age. I'm getting like 17 to 20 in age range. I do feel there was 1 female there, but the rest all feel like male to me. I do feel this was some sort of a drug deal. When I focus on Zach, though, in relation to these drugs, he's shaking his head no. I don't feel that Zach did drugs. I'm not saying he may not have, I don't know, he may have did some marijuana sometime occasionally, but I'm just not getting that it did anything for him. He didn't like the feeling. I don't get that he liked the drugs at all. So I'm getting that I don't think he really did drugs. He just was against it. But with this group of people in this house, what I'm feeling is this male that he was in his 30s, I'm getting that he wanted Zach to sell some drugs for him. I can't pick up what kind of drugs, but I'm getting that he wanted Zach to sell drugs for him. And Zach is saying, absolutely no way, I'm not doing it. However, this 37-year-old wanted Zach to do this as, this is what I'm getting. This older man wanted Zach to do this as repayment for something. I don't know if Zach owed this man money, borrowed money from him, or I'm not sure, but Zach, I feel like Zach owed him something. But I feel like it might have been money and wasn't able to pay him back or something. This older man wanted Zach to sell these drugs as kind of a repayment. The other young people in the group that I'm feeling were there, at least 3 of them, and I feel like they were males, were almost like standing back and almost watching like scared. They were nervous. I can feel their energy. I can see the look on their faces. They were scared. The female feels like very cold. This female actually may have had some type of relationship with this older man. She's not nervous, and she actually feels cold. No empathy, no caring about anything or anyone. This older man definitely feels like not a good person. Pretty cutthroat, pretty dark energy. A lot of dark energy around this older man and also the girl. The 20-year-old, I think, was also involved in some of this drug dealing or something with this older man. He feels like he's more of a, how do I want to say it? Like an assistant, like it's almost like the older man got him to do some of the dirty work or the grunt work that he didn't want to do. And like a soldier, you know, like one of his soldiers or something. So he's just kind of standing off in the background. It's these other 3 young men, though, are really nervous. I mean, I can see the look on their face. They're very nervous about this situation. The girl, she feels to me like this was a setup. I think she knew exactly how this was going to go down and didn't care. I'm asking now if Zach will be found. I'm getting, yes, he will be found, but then I asked when. I got a year to a year and a half. I'm hoping that me seeing this really, really open field, it doesn't feel like there's a lot of traffic that drives through this area. It's a pretty remote area, but I keep seeing this red barn about a block away, and it's like kind of like a barn that's like weathered. It's, you know, some of the paint is worn off of some of the wood, and it's kind of not in a great state. It's neglected, so it's not something that somebody's been upkeeping. I'm hoping that somebody maybe knows of something like an area like this. One thing I am picking up with Zach is that I do feel he is, he's a feisty one, and I think he was feisty when he was alive. And I'm getting he's very angry with what happened to him. He is really trying to reach out to whoever he can, probably other mediums or whatnot, to see if he can get information to people to try to help find where he is, but also to figure out who these people are that did this to him. I actually feel that the 37-year-old has moved out of the area. By the way, let me go back. This just came to me. I do feel that Zach was in this home, but then I feel that he left. And one of the people that left in the car with him was the 20-year-old. He was one of the ones that went in the car, and I feel like Zach thought that they were just going to bring him back to where it was that he was, but they didn't. This is what I'm getting. Okay, Zach did jump out of the car, but it was on the way back from this house with this older man. And he knew what they were planning on doing, so he actually tried to jump. He did jump out of the car. I am getting yes, but it's not when they were going. It was on the way back from whoever the house this was, this 37-year-old. It was on the way back because he knew what was going to happen. So he did jump out of the car. He did run, but it was not in the area that these 2 young people said that it was. It's in a different area. I actually feel that there were a group that, like, most of the group left. So if they had to take two cars, there might have been two cars, but they all left. And I do think there was maybe two cars. So one car was following the one that Zach was in. I do feel that he jumped out. Everyone stopped the car. Everyone out of both cars got out and chased him. And I do feel that that's where he lost his life, unfortunately, was wherever this was. Now, where I'm getting that he jumped out of the car is not where these two younger men said it was. It was somewhere different, but it was in a more populated area or a more traveled area than where the barn is. So I'm wondering if did they move his body? I do think they moved his body. So where he actually passed away is not where they left him. They then took him to this more remote area where this red barn was. I'm asking now if authorities will ever figure out who did this. I am getting a yes. Remember that I said there were three younger around Zach's age that were kind of standing off in like to the side, and I could see their frightened look on their face. They were very nervous about what was going to happen. First of all, the three of them are sick over what happened. I don't feel that they wanted this to go this far with Zach, where he was unalived. They were kind of caught up in it, so they had no choice but to go along with it. But one of them, I feel, is going to get to a point now where they can't take it anymore and they have to say something. And I'm getting that's about a year to a year and a half. So that could be why actually they end up finding Zach, is because this one kid who would be mid-20s now, he ends up saying something and takes authorities to where they put him or something. It's been really weighing heavy on their minds, especially this one, though. He is going to crack. Now, the girl. I don't think the girl is still hanging around with any of the people in this group. I think she's actually tried to move on with her life, but boy, she still feels like a cold-hearted person. I do think they'll find out about her too, but I feel like it's because someone comes forward. I really hope that this person really does, and I hope I'm not wrong on this. I'm really just doing this video to try to help. So my heart literally breaks for these parents. I am sending healing to Zach because he's still kind of holding on to that anger. And, you know, when we pass on, when people pass on, there's like a different plane. It's a different plane, dimension, however you want to say that. And up there, there's no time, space, distance. It's all kind of together. So even though it's been several years since this happened to Zach and when he disappeared, to him, it just feels like it just happened. I am actually asking God to send some healing to Zach and just to help him heal and let go, because he doesn't need to hang on to this anymore. You can do that too. Just pray to God and ask that they send healing to Zach to help him to let this go. That's what I'm getting on Zach Barnes, and I hope it's helpful to somebody out there. I hope that they're able to find him, and my thoughts and love go out to the parents and the family of this poor young man. My heart is with you, and I'm sending lots of love.